Hi guys, it's Panthers. I'm back with another video. Today, I'm going to be predicting who I think will win each game in Week 2 of the NFL 2021-2022 season in this video. And before we get into the video, I just wanted to say if you're not following me on Instagram, please follow me down below. It would really mean a lot to me, and the link's in the description. And also, I wanted to say if you do want to see some Instagram stories from the Panthers game I went to last week against the New York Jets, there's a story highlight called Panthers Game on my Instagram. So if you want to see that, you can check it out. Instagram links in my description, and let's get right into the video. So first, on Thursday Night Football, we have the New York Giants taking on the Washington Football Team in Washington, D.C. So in this game, I am going to pick the football team to get the win at home, even though they did lose their quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, to the IR for probably about 8 weeks, it's looking like. Might be less, might be more, but it's looking about 8 weeks, so not very good for the football team. They're going to be stuck for a while with Taylor Heineke, but he did play pretty well last year in the playoffs against the Buccaneers, who were the eventual Super Bowl champions. And for Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think it's 6 to 8 weeks he's going to be on the IR, but we'll just have to see how long. So he might come back quicker, he might come back longer. It just depends on how quickly he's able to get up to speed and healthy, but hopefully that does not affect the football team. That's a good amount of the season, 6 to 8 weeks, even though the season now is 18 weeks and 17 games for each team. So I'm going to give the football team the win in this one because I still think the defense is really good for Washington, and then also their offense is still pretty good, and if Heineke can make a few good throws, I think they could really beat the Giants here because the Giants' Saquon's just not really been the same since his rookie year. He just had so many injuries and isn't playing as well. And Daniel Jones, I don't know if he's really the quarterback of the future for the Giants. He might be. He's going to have to prove it, though, this season. This is probably his make it or break it year, especially they got a lot of offensive help for Daniel Jones, bringing Kenny Golladay and just keeping a lot of receivers there. Also has Saquon Barkley, Kyle Rudolph as a tight end, Evan Ingram, like a really good team. Probably the best group he's had around him since he's been in the NFL, I would say, in my opinion. So I give the football team the win here to get their first win of the season. Let's get into the next game. Next, on Sunday at 1 o'clock, we have the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. So Raiders had a very impressive win, in my opinion, on Monday Night Football. They did beat the Ravens, who I thought would win, but a very entertaining game. And the Steelers, somehow, I don't know how, but they beat the Bills. I was very surprised by that one. So the Steelers, I just feel like, always find a way to win. I don't know how, because somehow they just beat the Bills. Like, how, I'm not sure, but they do. Like, they always seemed like they weren't going to be as good this year, but they still find a way to win against the Bills, who are one of the best teams in the AFC. So in this game, I think I'm going to pick the Raiders to win because I really like Derek Carr, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs in that Raiders offense. And the defense is decent. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. And the Steelers will probably end up finding a way to win again somehow. But I just want to go with the Raiders here because they did beat the Ravens, who I think are a really good team. And yes, the Ravens are dealing with a lot of injuries, so that could have taken a part into how the Raiders beat them. But I'm going to go with the Raiders against the Steelers here and get the road win and improve to 2-0 on the year. And let me know what you think of that game down below, because I think that will be a pretty good game, and I think it's going to be pretty close. But let me know who you think will win down below. I think it's close, and either team can win, but I'm going to give the final edge to the Raiders. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. So I'm going to give the 49ers the win here because, yes, they did beat the Lions, and they still played pretty good, but I thought they should have played a little bit better against the Lions, but maybe I was just underrating Jared Goff a little bit. But I still think that the 49ers are going to beat the Eagles easily because the Eagles, yes, Jalen Hurts has played pretty well this season in his one game, but I just don't think they're going to be able to do much against that 49ers defense. And then also I think that offense is just going to start figuring it out as the season progresses, even though they did lose Raheem Mostert, who will be out for 8 weeks. And just another injury for Raheem Mostert. Last year he got hurt in week 2. Now he gets hurt in week 1. Like, I just don't know. Mostert doesn't like to stay healthy. He's kind of like Saquon. They can't stay healthy. But hopefully Mostert can come back in 8 weeks and finish the season out strong. But we'll have to see how it goes, and maybe the 49ers' other running backs will have a great opportunity here and take advantage of it. So I'm going to give the 49ers the win because I just think they'll beat the Eagles here. So let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Houston Texans taking on the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. So in this game, I think the Browns are easily going to win, even though the Texans did win against the Jaguars last week, which I was a little bit surprised by. I just don't think they can beat the Browns in Cleveland. Like, the Browns played really good last week against the Chiefs. They barely lost. I know they kind of blew the lead a little bit, but they were playing the Kansas City Chiefs. They have like one of the best offenses in the league, if not the best. Like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, etc. That offense is just so good. I just don't really think the Browns are going to lose to the Texans at home and start the season 0-2. I just really do believe in the Browns winning this game against the Texans. So I think this is an easy win for the Browns at home and to get their first win of the year. let's get into the next game for this week. Next, we have the Broncos taking on the Jaguars in Jacksonville. So I'd say I was a little bit disappointed by week 1 by the Jaguars losing to the Texans, and they didn't have a great game overall. Like, I thought they would play a little bit better. So I think a little bit of a disappointing game, and I think the Broncos are going to get the road win here in Jacksonville because the Broncos played pretty good last week. I know it was against the Giants, who aren't the best team, but they're not the worst. And I just think that the Broncos are going to get the win again because I really like their defense. I think they're going to be able to slow down the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. And I think their offense should have a pretty easy time scoring if Teddy Bridgewater can make some good decisions again, and they can just keep a run game going as well to keep the defense on their toes. So I'm just going to pick the Broncos to win here and get their second win of the year to go up 2-0 onto the season, and the Jaguars to fall to 0-2 and not have a great start for the season. Let's get into the next game of week 2. Next, we have the New Orleans Saints taking on the Carolina Panthers in Charlotte, North Carolina at Bank of America Stadium. So I was at the game last week. I don't have any plans to go to any more NFL games this year. I'll let you guys know if I do, like through Instagram. I'll do more stories and stuff. But currently I have no other plans for NFL games this year. But I did enjoy going to the Jets game last week. It was pretty fun. Panthers versus Jets. Panthers got the win, so I was happy about that. This game, I think, will be really close. I'll explain why. Because the Saints, yes, they did blow out the Packers. I don't know how they won that game. And Jameis Winston looked incredible, throwing 5 touchdowns. And he threw only 147 passing yards, which is the least amount of passing yards for throwing 5 touchdowns by a quarterback, which makes sense. Because less than 150 passing yards for 5 touchdowns, like that's crazy in my opinion. So I'm kind of surprised by how good the Saints played, but they did play pretty well. And then the Panthers, they didn't play the best, but they didn't play the worst against the Jets. They played pretty decent. And that defense was incredible for the Panthers, though. They got so many sacks. They were just all over Zach Wilson that whole game. Like, even if they weren't getting sacks, they were right in his face. They were tackling him. They were right there, even if he got that ball off. And if he did get that ball off and they didn't hit him, he felt the rush coming. They were so getting to him. They were getting to him really good. And I know that it is a rookie quarterback and it was his first game, so he might have felt a little bit more pressured than even the pressure that was there. But still, the pressure was coming on Zach Wilson. It was very hard for him on Sunday. The reason why I am going to pick the Panthers to win this game is because I think they're going to win it from the home crowd and go to 2-0. And I also think DJ Moore's going to have a really good game because whenever he plays the Saints, he has a really good game. I don't know why. I guess he likes playing against the Saints and they don't know how to cover him too well. Normally, he has a pretty good game, and I think that will continue here. And I think the Panthers will get the second win of their season, and the Saints will lose. Even though the Saints are coming off a huge win against the Packers, I believe they're going to lose in Charlotte this week. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the LA Rams taking on the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis at 1 o'clock p.m. I'm going to pick the Rams to win this game. The Rams were incredible last week. Matthew Stafford made some great throws in LA. The defense was playing amazing. I really liked how the Rams played against the Bears last week. I think they played great. And I think they're just going to carry that momentum and beat the Colts here in Indy. And the Colts are going to start 0-2. And the Colts if they start 0-2, that's not going to make their fan base very happy because they had some high expectations. And 0-2 is not a great start, especially in the AFC South if the Titans can catch some fire, because the Titans are a pretty good team. They had a pretty bad loss in week 1, but if they can start getting some chemistry going and stuff, and that offense can start clicking, oh, that's a scary team. Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, etc. That's going to be a scary offense if they could get some things clicking around in Tennessee. I'm going to pick the LA Rams to get the road win here and to move out to 2-0 on the year. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Bills taking on the Dolphins in Miami. So Dolphins have back-to-back divisional opponents in New England last week, now at home against the Bills. So in this game, I am going to give the Bills the win, even though they did not play great against the Steelers. I just think they'll be able to beat Tua and the Dolphins because Tua he looked okay in week 1, but I still don't think he's really the answer in Miami based on what we've seen so far. Maybe the rest of the season can impress me and then make it look like he's the guy in Miami, but just to me right now, it doesn't look like he's really like that franchise guy for the Dolphins. Like, he's just the guy that's good, but not good enough really to carry the team. But we'll have to see how he plays the rest of the season. And sorry for looking to the side, I was just looking at my iPad for a second. And on my iPad, I have the games up, so that's why I looked over there. And I sometimes look to the left, sometimes look to the right. It just depends where I have it positioned. In conclusion, I do think the Bills will get the win in Miami and get their first win of the season here against the Dolphins. And Josh Allen will have a great rebound game, and maybe Stephon Diggs will have a good game as well. I just think the Bills are too much for the Dolphins to handle, so I'm going to give the Bills the win. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have another AFC East divisional matchup with the New England Patriots taking on the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. So in this game, I think I'm going to give the Patriots the win here because they almost beat the Dolphins last week, and in my opinion, I think the Dolphins are a better team than the Jets. So I think the Patriots are going to be able to come into New Jersey and beat the Jets at home, and the Jets are going to start off 0-2. But I think if you're a Jets fan, you should really just be looking to see, is Zach Wilson playing good? Is a lot of the young guys playing good? Not really right now of wins and losses, because the Jets are still a very young team, one of the youngest in the league, if not the youngest. So you're just looking, I think, really for some good, consistent play by the team, not necessarily the winning. That will come as the players develop. And I just don't know. I don't really think this is the year yet for the Jets. Like, I don't know if they might sneak into the playoffs this year. I don't think so, though. I highly doubt it. I don't think this is their year yet. I think they still have a few years and a few more pieces. But if they could start having some good promise, like if Zach Wilson could play good this week, I think it's good for the Jets fans. But I don't think you should really be mad if they lose again this week, even though it is to the Patriots, who, no offense, but anyone in the AFC East fan like Jets, Dolphins, Bills obviously hate, especially when Brady was there for 20 years. So I'm going to give the Patriots the win here. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Bengals taking on the Bears in Chicago. So in this game, I think I'm going to give the Bears the win because, yes, the Bengals did get the win against the Vikings, but I think the Bears are a better team, and I just think the Bears aren't going to start off the season 0-2. I think they're going to rebound here and win. So I think David Montgomery will have another good game. Maybe Allen Robinson will be a little bit more involved for the Bears this week. And I just think the Bears are going to get the win over the Bengals this week at home in their home opener. Let's get into the next game. Next, at 4:05, we have the Falcons taking on the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. So I'm going to pick the Buccaneers to win this game because I just don't think the Falcons are really a match for them. The Falcons could barely even play well against the Eagles, and sorry to say it, but the Buccaneers are a lot better than the Eagles. Like, if you're an Eagles fan, I'm sorry, but you know it's true. The Buccaneers are one of the best teams in the league, if not the best. So I'm going to give the Bucs the easy win here against the Falcons at home, and also the Falcons just did not look very good last week, and they might look a little bit better this week, but I still don't think good enough to beat the Bucs, even though the Bucs did almost lose to the Cowboys. That game was a lot closer than what I thought, but I did think the Bucs would come out on top like they did. So I give the Bucs the win in that game. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Vikings taking on the Cardinals in Arizona, and that game's at 4:05 p.m. So I'm going to give the Cardinals the win in that game because the Cardinals made the Titans look horrible last week, and the Cardinals defense got so many sacks. Chandler Jones alone got 5. Like, that was a great defensive performance by the Cardinals, and their offense was pretty good with Kyler Murray and etc., DeAndre Hopkins and the rest of the offense, and they made the Titans look bad, and the Titans are a really good team. So if they go up against the Vikings, I think this is just going to be an easy dub for the Cardinals. The Vikings couldn't even beat the Bengals last week. So I think Kyler Murray and the Cardinals are going to walk away with the easy dub here at home in their first game at home. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Titans taking on the Seahawks in Seattle. So in this game, I think the Titans are going to rebound and get their first win of the season and not look as bad as they did last week, because they're going to be really motivated to win this game because it's against a good team and they don't want to look so bad. They looked so bad last week. They want to change it, forget about week 1, just kind of like what the Packers want to do. Just forget about week 1, pretend this is week 1, just start the season now and try to just win a ton of games and get some good seeding in your division/playoff race. I know the playoff race not really because it's only week 2, but in the future they got to get in that wild card and division race if they want to make that playoff run. So I think the Titans are going to get the win here in Seattle, but I do think Seattle played pretty good last week against the Colts, but I still think they're just not going to be able to beat the Titans. I really like that Titans offense, and I just think this week they're going to be a lot better than they were last week. So I give the Titans the win in this game. Let's get into the next one. Next, we have the Cowboys taking on the Chargers in LA at 4:25 p.m. In this game, I think it's going to be pretty close because the Chargers did beat football team last week, and then the Cowboys had a very impressive game, definitely, almost beating the Buccaneers, a Super Bowl chance on Thursday Night Football to open the season. That was an incredible game. I think this game will be a very close game, but I am going to give the slight edge, I think, to Dak Prescott and the Cowboys because that offense was so good last week, and I think that continues here in LA. So I'm going to give the Cowboys their first win of the season here, and beat the LA Chargers in SoFi Stadium. Let's get into Sunday Night Football. On Sunday Night Football, you have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. So in this game, I'm just going to pick the Chiefs to win because the Chiefs are so good. They have one of the best offenses in the league. And their defense is going to have a little bit of issues because they're going to have to deal against Lamar Jackson, who's really good. And based on Monday Night Football, I think he's starting to learn how to throw the ball a little bit better. So he looked like definitely a better passer, in my opinion, against the Raiders. And I know they don't have the best of defense, but still, you got to start somewhere. And I think he looked really good against the Raiders as a passing quarterback as well, not just a rushing quarterback. And I just don't think the Ravens are going to be able to beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to score so much, and the Ravens already have so many injuries, and they're trying to get so many guys to fill these big roles that are being left, like J.K. Dobbins, running back, he was left, and then they're starting 3 all out. Now they're down to their 4th-string running back. I just don't really think that the Ravens are going to be able to overcome all that and beat the Chiefs at home on Sunday Night Football. Maybe they could surprise me, but if they couldn't even beat the Raiders on Monday night, I know that was on the road, but still, if they couldn't beat them on Monday night, I just don't see how they beat the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. So I'm going to have the Ravens starting 0-2 on the season, and the Chiefs starting out 2-0. Let's get into Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football at 8:15 p.m., we have the Detroit Lions taking on the Green Bay Packers. I think the Green Bay Packers have a huge rebound game and just destroy the Lions. They just go crazy on them, I think, because they're mad about last week. Getting killed by the Saints and Aaron Rodgers having the worst game of his career, he's going to be mad and just playing so mad and destroying the Lions. I think he's going to get so many, throw so many yards, get some touchdowns in there. I just don't see him having another bad week like he did last week. I just think him and the offense, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, etc., all those players are just going to go crazy this week against the Lions, especially that the Lions don't have a great defense. So I just think the Packers are going to get a really nice rebound win and get some momentum built for the rest of the season for them. Let me know who you guys think will win each game down below, but I do think that this should be a pretty fun week, all these games. And thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.